welcome to all of you. Dear students, today's lecture is Fundamental Components of Taxonomy. So far as introduction is concerned, taxonomy is a Greek word. It is made up of two words. Taxis means arrangement and nomia means method. It is a practice and science of classification. Taxonomy uses taxonomic units known as taxa, singular taxon. Taxonomy is basically concerned with the classification of organisms. Before attempting to classify various organisms, it is necessary to identify and name them. A particular group of individuals, unique in several respects, is assigned to a species. These species are grouped into genera, genera into families, family into orders, and the process continues till all the species have been arranged, classified under a single largest, most inclusive group. The taxonomic activities of humans are not restricted to living organisms only. Humans learn to identify, describe, name and classify foods, clothes, books, games, vehicles, religions, professions and any other objects that they come across or influence their life. The process begins and ends with life. There are more than 1/3 of a million species of green plants known to man today. This information having been accumulated through efforts of several millenniums. Although man has been classifying plants since the advent of civilization, taxonomy was recognized as a formal subject only in 1813 by A.P. de Candolle. For a long time, plant taxonomy was considered as the science of identifying, naming and classifying plants. Since identification and nomenclature are important prerequisites for any classification, taxonomy is often defined as the science dealing with the study of classification, including its basis, principles, rules and procedures. The scope of taxonomy has however been enlarged in recent years to make taxonomy and systematics synonymous. Simpson in 1961 defined systematics as a scientific study of the kinds and diversity of organisms and of any and all relationships between them. It was recognized as a more inclusive field of study concerned with the study of diversity of plants and their naming, classification and evolution. The realization of the fact that a good number of authors still consider taxonomy to be more inclusive one. This lead recent authors to prefer the term systematics to include discussions about all the recent developments in their works. Modern approach to systematics aims at reconstructing the entire chronicle of evolutionary events, which ultimately aims at discovering all the branches of evolutionary tree of life and to document all the changes and to describe all the species which form the tips of all these branches. This won't be possible unless information is consolidated in the form of an ambiguous system of classification. This, however, is again impossible without clear understanding of the basic identification and nomenclature methods. Thus, a broader definition of taxonomy to coincide with systematics recognizes it as the study and description of variation in organisms, the investigation of causes and consequences of this variation, and the manipulation of the data obtained to produce a system of classification. Now, dear students, we will discuss the fundamental components of taxonomy in detail. The fundamental components of taxonomy which help to develop an ideal system of classification are the procedures of description, identification, nomenclature, classification and phylogeny. These components are discussed as: number 1, description. The description of any taxon involves listing its features by recording the appropriate character states. A shortened description consisting of only those taxonomic characters which help in separating a taxon from other closely related taxa forms the diagnosis, and the characters are termed as diagnostic characters. The diagnostic characters for a taxon determines its circumscription. the description is recorded in a set pattern. For example, habitat, stem, flower, sepals, stamens, carpels, fruits, etc. as shown in the figure. For each character, an appropriate character state is listed. For example, flower color may thus be red, yellow, white, etc. The description is recorded in semi-technical language using specific terms for each character state to enable a proper documentation of the data, whereas the fresh specimen can be described conveniently. The dry specimens need to be softened in boiling water or in a wetting agent before these could be described. Softening is often essential for dissection of flowers in order to study their details. Now, identification. Identification or determination is recognizing an unknown specimen by comparing it with an already known taxon and assigning a correct rank and position in an extant classification. In practice, it involves finding a name for an unknown specimen. This may be achieved by visiting a herbarium and comparing unknown specimens with the duly identified specimens stored in the herbarium. Alternatively, the specimen may also be sent to an expert in the field who can help in its identification. Identification can also be achieved using various types of literature such as floras, monographs or manuals, and making use of identification keys provided in these sorts of literature. After the unknown specimen has been identified with the help of a key, the identification can neither be confirmed by comparison with detailed description of various organs of a taxon provided in the literature source. A method that is becoming popular over the recent years involves taking a photograph of the plant and its parts, uploading this picture on the website and informing the members of the appropriate electronic experts or news groups who can see the photograph at the website and send their comments to the enquirer. Members of such organization can thus help each other in identification in a much efficient manner. Now, nomenclature. Nomenclature deals with the determination of a correct name of a taxon. There are different rules of naming different groups of living organisms. Nomenclature of plants, including fungi, is governed by the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature (ICBN) through its rules and recommendations. This table shows some binomial scientific names of some plants and animals. The Botanical Code is updated after every 6 years. Helps in picking up a single correct name out of numerous scientific names available for a taxon with a particular circumscription, position and rank. To avoid inconvenient name changes for certain taxa, a list of conserved binomial names are provided in the code. Cultivated plants are governed by the International Code of Nomenclature of Cultivated Plants (ICNCP), largely based on Botanical Code, which is slightly a modified form. Names of animals are governed by International Code of Zoological Nomenclature (ICZN). Those of bacteria by International Code of Nomenclature of Bacteria (ICNB), now called Bacteriological Code (BC). A separate group of viruses named the International Code of Virus Classification and Nomenclature. This draft has been developed from the most recent rules of virus classification and nomenclature by the International Committee for the Taxonomy of Viruses (ICTV). With the onset of electronic revolution and the need to have a common database of living organisms for global communication, a common uniform code is being attempted. The draft biocode is the first public expression of these objectives. The first draft was prepared by 1995. After successive reviews, the fourth draft, named Draft Biocode 1997, prepared by the International Committee for Binomial Nomenclature, was published by Guter et al. 1998, and is now available on the web. The last decade of 20th century also saw the development of a rankless phylocode based on the concept of phylogenetic systematics. It omits all ranks except species and clades, based on the concept of recognition of monophyletic groups. The latest version of phylocode, July 2002, is also available on the web. Now we will discuss its classification. Classification is the arrangement of organisms into groups on the basis of similarities. The groups are in turn assembled into more inclusive groups until all the organisms have been assembled in a single most inclusive group. In sequence of increasing inclusiveness, the groups are assigned to a fixed hierarchy of categories such as species, genus, family, order, class, and division, the final arrangement constituting a system of classification. The process of classification includes assigning appropriate position and rank to a new taxon, dividing a taxon into smaller units, uniting two or more taxa into one, transferring its position from one group to another, and altering its rank. Once established, a classification provides an important mechanism of information storage, retrieval, and usage. This ranked system of classification is popularly known as a linear system. Taxonomic entities are classified in different fashions. One, artificial classification. It is based on arbitrary, easily observable characters such as habit, color, number, form, and similar features. The sexual system of Linnaeus, which fits in this category, utilizes the number of stamens for primary classification of the flowering plants. Number next is natural classification, which uses overall similarity in grouping taxa, a concept initiated by M. Adamson and culminating in the exclusively used classification of Bentham and Hooker. Natural system of 18th and 19th centuries used morphology in delimiting the overall similarity. The concept of overall similarity has undergone considerable refinement in recent years, as against the sole morphological features as indicators of similarity. In natural systems, overall similarity is now judged on the basis of features derived from all the available fields of taxonomic information, that is phenetic relationship. Now, phenetic classification makes the use of overall similarity in terms of phenetic relationships based on the data from all available sources such as morphology, anatomy, embryology, phytochemistry, ultrastructure, and in fact all other fields of study. Phenetic classification were strongly advocated by Smith and Sokal, but did not find much favor with major systems of classification of higher plants. Phenetic relationships has, however, been very prominently used in modern phylogenetic systems to decide the realignment with the system of classification. Now we will see phylogenetic classification. It is based on the evolutionary descent of a group of organisms. The relationships depicted either through a phylogram, phylogenetic tree, or a cladogram. This type of classification is constructed with the premise in mind that all the descendants of a common ancestor should be placed in a same group. The groups should be monophyletic. If some descendants have been left out, rendering the group paraphyletic, these are brought back into the group to make it monophyletic. Merger of Apocynaceae with Asclepiadaceae and merger of Brassicaceae with Capridaceae in recent classifications. Similarly, if the group is polyphyletic, that is with members from more than one phyletic line, it is split to create monophyletic taxa. Genus Erinaria split into Erinaria and Manduracea. This approach is known as cladistics and is practiced by cladists. Now, evolutionary taxonomic classification, it differs from phylogenetic classification in that the gaps in the various patterns of phylogenetically adjacent groups are regarded as more important in recognizing groups. It accepts leaving out certain descendants of a common ancestor, that is, recognizing paraphyletic groups, if the gaps are not significant, thus failing to provide a true picture of the genealogical history. The characters considered to be of significance in the evolution and the classification based on these are dependent on experts, authority and intuition of systematics. Such classifications have been advocated by Simpson 1961, Ashlock 1979, Mayer and Ashlock 1991 and Stussy 1990. This approach is known as eclecticism, is practiced by eclecticists. Now, phylogeny. Phylogeny is the study of genealogy and evolutionary history of a taxonomy group. Genealogy is the study of ancestral relationships and lineages. Relationships are depicted through a diagram better known as phylogram. Since the commonly used term cladogram is more appropriately used for this diagram, constructed through cladistic methodology. A phylogram is a branching diagram based on the degree of advancement, apomorphy, in the descendants, the longest branch representing the most advanced group. This is distinct from a phylogenetic tree in which vertical scale represents a geological time scale and all living organisms reach the top, with primitive ones near the center and advanced ones near the periphery. Monophyletic groups, including all descendants of a common ancestor, are recognized and form entities in a classification system. Paraphyletic groups, wherein some descendants of a common ancestor are left out, are reunited. Polyphyletic groups with more than one common ancestor are split to form monophyletic groups. Phenetic information may often help in determining phylogenetic relationships. This way, I think we have completed all the parameters of our today's lecture, and I hope all of you might have well understood it. Thank you.